Right. Of course, the company to focus on today is DB Corp. Let's look at their earnings. It's been a stable quarter for them. So revenue and profit up about 6 to 7%. The margins have been fairly flat for the quarter. Ad revenue, that's been good for both the print and the radio business. Girish Agarwaal is the director at DB Corp, joins us on the show. Girish, good to have you. Thanks for speaking to us at BTVi. Just to understand from you the highlights of the quarter gone by, it's been fairly stable for you.
So I think the biggest highlight for this quarter is that we made an EBITDA of around 200 crore, which is the highest ever EBITDA made by us in any quarter so far. Though the top line was able to grow only 4% because of the effect of the demonetization. But if you look at 9 months, I think we've done a great job in looking at the environment around 9% is the advertising, 11% is the advertising growth, and maintaining an EBITDA margin of around 31%.
Right, Girish, I want to congratulate you on your ad revenues. Well, there was an expectation because of demonetization that ad revenues will actually slip in the December quarters. Tell us what has augured well for your ad revenues in the December quarter.
I think October was a fantastic month. We had a huge growth on that month. And November 8th onwards and December went almost flat. So I think because of that we were able to just scrape through by this 4% growth. But we are hoping that in this coming quarter and going forward things should get normalized and go back to some growth pattern.
Girish, I don't know if you do have the breakup or not, but for your print business, the breakup between government and non-government ads, what's the contribution over there if you do have that figure?
So government just contribute around 12% to our overall business.
So clearly the trend, what I'm trying to understand from you is since large part of it is non-government anyway, the trend should only improve as the recovery kicks in Q4 and subsequent quarters.
Certainly yes, certainly yes.
Right. In terms of FY18, what are some of the key drivers that we are looking at? Like you said, you've had an EBITDA of over 200 crores for this quarter. FY17, what's the kind of figure that you're going to end at estimates wise? And then going forward from there, what can we expect?
I think a lot depends on the advertising growth coming forward, because as far as the cost is concerned, it's totally under control. As far as the circulation revenue is concerned, we still have a huge growth, 9% growth happened this quarter itself. So we have a consistent thing happening on other side. But advertising, as you know, is the very external impact. The companies like automobile, the real estate, they need to sell to advertise. And unfortunately, their sales have been in red. So they need to come back to advertising, come back to normal sales and then talk about the growth. So I think going forward, the Q4 and the Q1 of the next year would be very important for us to see how fast we come back on the track for the recovery.
Right, Girish. Well, talking about the current quarter, we've got elections coming in 4 states, especially UP, which is one of the biggest elections which is going to come about. And you've got good readership of Dainik Bhaskar in that particular state. Tell us, what kind of ad revenues would you be expecting in the current quarter because of elections?
Okay, let me just correct you here. We are not Dainik Bhaskar, we are Dainik Bhaskar. So UP is not our market. But having said that, I still believe that the election revenues are not very big for any newspaper in the overall context. It does add on some couple of percentages in that particular quarter, but nothing substantial.
Fair point. How's the radio business doing? That has also seen a steady performance this time around. Ad revenue growth of about 12% over there. Just the key highlights over there and what are we watching out for?
Yeah, so in radio we have, as you know, that we acquired 13 more frequencies, and out of that we've already launched. Today we are at 26 frequency overall, and by this quarter end we'll be done with all 30 frequencies. And radio, we believe, will continue showing growth. Like if you look at 9 months, we have a 21% growth in radio and a very strong EBITDA margin over there. So we are very confident and happy about the radio business going forward also.
Right.
Girish, what about the margins? We've seen marginal contraction coming in there for your EBITDA margins for this particular quarter to about 32%. Tell us what led to this, dragging of margins, and do we see any kind of recovery in the current quarter for that?
If you look at the 9 months, we are at 31% EBITDA margin, and this quarter 32%. And the obvious reason is because the top line only grew by 4%, hence the EBITDA margin came down 32. Had the top line be back to 9 or 10%, we would have been again at 34, 35% EBITDA margin, maybe higher, because cost is very well under control.
Right, Girish, we'll leave it at that, but appreciate you joining us and running us through the highlights for DB Corp, and good luck for the quarters ahead.